Hello po, once again, good afternoon sa lahat. Okay, I guess we need to start regardless with our number. Anyway, recorded naman to. So, okay lang po, mag-start tayo with a prayer. Can we ask Ma'am Carmen? Hello, Ma'am. Sir
Ma'am,
Nards. Parang nag-ano na to si Ma'am Carmen, naka-unmute.
nakapikit po siya, ma'am, at nakahiga. Masakit daw yung mata.
Okay. Sige, Sir Nards. Pwede ikaw na po. Okay, Sir Jerry. Sir Jerry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you lead a prayer na lang po?
Mag-start na tayo.
Okay, mag-start na po tayo, sir, para mas maaga tayong matapos.
Okay, sige, let us bow down our heads. Our Father in heaven, once again, we call upon you. We would like to offer to you our thanksgiving and appreciation for all the blessings the day that we received. Thank you, Lord, for your sustaining grace. From the start in the morning until this moment, we are able to have our classes, and at this moment we will be listening to Dr. Michelle in our DBA. I pray for your holy presence to be in our midst, inspiring us, motivating us, and above all, comforting us, that as we listen to the lectures, presentations, we will gain knowledge and wisdom that is applicable for the career, the work that you have entrusted to us, especially in the education ministry. Equip us with knowledge and wisdom, especially to our facilitator, that the things that we learn today will be translated into a practical application. And cleanse us from all unrighteousness, Lord, so that your Holy Spirit may dwell in our hearts and in our minds. Thank you for granting our prayers, hearing us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Sir Jerry. Once again, good afternoon to everyone. So last time, for a while, baka wala si engineer dito, no? Okay, for a while lang ha. Okay, allow me to share my screen po. Okay, nakikita niyo na ba yung screen ko?
Yes po.
Okay. Okay, so last time we talked about perception, personality, and emotion. So this is chapter 2 in our discussion. So if you have seen the post that I had in our GC, so later on I'll be giving I will also be giving more clarification or details on the performance or the output that I'm requiring from all of the students here in this subject. So last time we talked about perception, and then we also had discussed about the different errors in perception. Also the factors affecting perception. So let's just continue to where we ended. Okay, so I guess we started here with we ended here. Perceptual errors. So some of the errors that distort the perception process include, okay, there are many things that that constitute the errors, or that causes the errors in our perception towards other people or even towards ourselves. So we have attribution theory, selective perception, the halo effect, contrast effects, projection, and stereotyping. So last time we did talk about attribution theory, which explains the way we look at the cause or the motivation of someone in doing something. So we look into the rules in determining attribution. We look into the distinctiveness of the action, the consensus, and the consistency. And in every rule, we look into the two categories. Is it external or is it internal? And then, so when we say internal, it is just something all about the person. And when we say external, something which are beyond the control of a person. So the distortions of an attribution theory, we have the tendency to underestimate the influence of external factors and overestimate the influence of internal factors when making judgment about the behavior of others. So when we look into the actions of other people, we always tend to look into what the person is able to do or the capacity of that person. And we sometimes neglect that there are also some factors, the external factors, the environment or the external stimuli that also contributes to the completion of such act. So another one, we have self-serving bias. So we have self-serving bias from the term itself. We have inclination towards, or we have favorable inclination towards ourselves. So self-centered biases. So research suggests that individuals tend to overestimate their own good behavior and underestimate the good behavior of others. So we always look at ourselves, we are like this saying that holier than thou. So we always think that we're better than other people or compared to other people. So self-serving bias is the tendency for individuals to attribute their own successes to internal factors while putting the blame for failures on external factors. So why is it bias? Because when it is something good, we attribute it to ourselves. But when something happened, which is bad, we blame the other. We point our finger to other people, or to, like, if not to the people, to some circumstances. So that is why it is bias. When we are successful, we are more likely to believe it was because of internal factors. So for example, if you're successful, if you graduated with honors or with Latin honors, you will say, oh, it's because I'm smart, I'm diligent, I'm hardworking, like that. But such as ability or effort. When we fail, however, we blame external factors such as luck or like, for example, poverty. So if you cannot graduate, you will not be successful, you always blame it to poverty or you blame it to your parents or to other factors. In general, people tend to believe that their own behavior is more positive than the behavior of those around them. So again, that is why it is called self-serving. Who are we serving? It's just ourselves. Okay, self-serving bias. Then selective perception, from the term itself, selective. People's selective interpretation of what they see based on their interest, background, experience, and attitudes. So those bits and pieces are not chosen randomly but are selectively chosen according to our interest, background, experience, and attitudes. Suppose there's a rumor going around the office. So for example, in this case, so you have this rumor that your company is not doing good, and then it's just a rumor, it's not the fact yet. But then when we see some senior executive from head office making a routine visit around in your area, you might be thinking, this is the move of the company to lay off some people. So in reality, it's not that, it's just your perception, and it is an example of selective perception. So in reality, such an action might not be the farthest thing from the senior executive's mind. Selective perception can also make us draw wrong conclusions about co-workers who have suffered serious illnesses. Oh, so for example here, yung mga co-worker natin or kasamahan natin sa isang organization na meron silang sakit. So, pag nagkasakit, sasabihin natin na, hindi na siya makapag-function katulad ng dati kasi nga may sakit na siya. Even when that person or that employee has recovered from his illness or sickness, still, there are some people or co-workers who will think that he or she can no longer do his or her task effectively. So it's just a perception and it is selective. So you are just basing your opinion or your observation or your opinion based on your observation or based on what you think of the situation. So selective perception. The third one is halo effect. So what is a halo effect? The halo yung sa mga angel, yung nasa ibabaw. Okay? So drawing a general impression of an individual on the basis of a single characteristic. So this one is the opposite of selective perception, because in selective perception, you are just focusing on bits of information and you look into it and you focus into that particular factor. But here, in halo effect, you are drawing a general impression of an individual on the basis of a single characteristic. So, this often happens when students evaluate their instructor. So, di ba yung may mga students na pag sinabing, itong teacher na to, itong instructor na to, sabihin nila, yun, tigre yan. O yung isa, ay nako miss, ano yan, feeling maganda lang yan. So ganyan yung mga like there is a category or there's a general description of a person or of a leader. So just like my experience with my students, so I don't know ano yung masasabi nila sa akin, but most of the time my students will always share to me also their experiences with other teacher. And then parang ako yung palaging sinusumbungan nila. Okay, ma'am, bakit ganun si sir, si ma'am? Tapos meron silang mga parang si sir ganito siya. So tinitingnan lang yung parang generalize nila yung isang tao dahil lang sa isang characteristic o isang feature. Pag sasabihin nila, stricto yan. Pero stricto siya, but in the other side, meron din siyang ibang mga good characteristics. Pero pag sinasabi na itong halo effect, isa lang na characteristic ng isang tao and we generalize that characteristic as if that determines everything about a person. So that is what we mean by halo effect. Ano, teka lang. Okay. And then we have contrast effects. The concept that our reaction to one person is often influenced by other people we have recently encountered. All right, so this perception error happens when, like for example, if you're interviewing someone, there will really be an effect when the first interviewee is a good performer or napakaganda ng kanyang sagot, tsaka napakataas ng kanyang ng rating with flying colors, napaka-outstanding niya, tapos you're so, like for example, the interviewer is so amazed at that person, and then the second interviewee, yung sagot niya parang hindi lively, parang hindi engaging. So talagang meron siyang comparison. So this is an example of contrast effects. So the reaction, the perception is influenced by other people we have recently encountered. So we don't evaluate a person in isolation. Our reaction to one person is often influenced by other people we have recently encountered. Like for example, yung may mga contest. Okay, kadalasan sa mga contestant sasabihin nila, sana yung nauna sa atin ay hindi masyadong bongga yung kanilang ng performance. Kasi pag napakabongga ng kanilang performance, tapos tayo yung kasunod at hindi masyadong impactful yung ating performance, parang masasabi na maski ng mga audience na ay may nanalo na. Kasi makikita nila yung contrast ng performance. So like this case, consider what happens when a manager interviews job candidates from a pool of applicants. The evaluation of a candidate can be affected by his or her place in the interview schedule. The candidate is likely to receive a better evaluation if interviewed after a mediocre applicant. Kasi kapag yung nauna sa'yo, hindi nakakasagot sa mga tanong, at saka obvious na nagsastammer siya, or yung walang eye contact, he or she is not confident enough, then kapag ikaw yung kasunod doon, talagang mas better yung rating mo kasi merong contrast effect na magagamit in the perception of the interviewer. Okay, another one is projections. Ano naman tong projections? Attributing one's own characteristics to other people. So, earlier yung contrast effect, you are comparing one's performance to the second or according to sa kanyang pagkakasunod-sunod. But here in projections, yung characteristic mo mismo, yung i-attribute mo sa ibang tao, i-compare mo sila sa yung katangian. So, people who engage in projection tend to perceive others according to what they themselves are like, rather than perceiving others as they really are. Because they always judge people as similar to themselves. When they observe someone who is actually like them, their perceptions are naturally correct. But when they observe others who are not like them, their perceptions are not so accurate. Okay, so here, it's very clear, no, that when you see someone behaving like yourself or similar to you, you can really say that, oh, my perception about this person is very good, is correct. But then, if you can meet someone like an exact opposite to you, parang, of course, meron na ring mga biases kasi your standard or your guide, your basis for your perception or your like understanding or analysis of a certain person or the behavior of person is based on your own characteristic or feature. So that is projection. Hello po. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Nandito na ba si
Ma'am.
engineer? Nakapasok na ba si engineer?
Ano po, Doc?
Okay, so
Traveling.
yes.
Travel pa po.
Yes, it's good that kahit nagta-travel still na nasa attendance. Okay. Alright, so kasi nga 'di ba yung sinabi ni Doc Ray na ano, yung attendance natin especially sa doctorate na classes, talagang merong mga deductions. 'Di ba? So, it's a motivation for us too. So, sa akin din as your professor or your instructor in this subject, chine-check ko talaga yung attendance. So, tinitingnan ko. Kasi it will also affect your grade in this subject and also your participation. Okay, so for the next, we have stereotyping. So, judging someone on the basis of one's perception of the group to which that person belongs. Okay, nawala yung belongs. Okay, you judge someone on the basis of one's perception of the group to which that person belongs. So, for example, generally speaking, when like stereotyping, an example of this is like, for example, girls, when you say girls, you should be wearing pink, you should be playing with dolls, like that. Like, because you're a girl, so you already have this perceived characteristic about a particular group of people. And then when you see that person, a member of a particular group, you will automatically judge that person basing on your perceived characteristic of the group. So stereotyping differs from halo effect. So merong contrast or difference in that the latter is based on the latter, or the halo effect is based on a single characteristic of the individual. So, di ba nga yung halo effect is just based on a single characteristic. Tapos, yun na yung basihan mo, parang generalize mo na yun. For example, that person is strict. So, hindi mo na tinitingnan yung ibang characteristic niya. Yung pagka-stricto na lang niya yung parang ginagamit mo as label to that person. So, ayan, yung teacher na yan, strict yan. Yung manager na yan, napaka-inconsiderate niyan. So, parang ganon. So, just basing on a single characteristic of the individual rather than the individual's membership in particular. So, generalization, of course, is not without advantages. It helps us to simplify a complex world and it permits us to maintain consistency. Of course, meron naman talagang magandang dulot ring pag-generalize. So, it is easier to deal with a large number of stimuli if we use stereotypes. We need to be able to be aware of the effects of stereotypes on how we evaluate the world around us. Stereotypes can lead to strong negative reactions such as prejudice if we are also using like biases in stereotyping. Like for example, like in our world, there's a constant change. For example, you will say, yung mga from the ethnic na mga group, yun sila, walang pinag-aralan, or yung mga gano'n, nakasuot lang ng, ano yung mga sinusuot ng mga nasa ethnic group. Parang, you already have that set of characteristic ba? Parang walang changes. Tapos, pag may nakita kang member ng grupo na yon, sinasabi mo talaga na, pag ganyan, wala yung mga ganyan, wala yung pinag-aralan, or na-attribute mo yung characteristic na iniisip mo sa grupo nila sa isang tao. So, that is an example of stereotyping. So, in the negative way that you generalize your perception or your attribution of a certain person because of the group kung saan siya nabibilang. Then the second one, the last one is we have prejudice. So stereotyping will also lead to prejudice. So when you say prejudice, diba, before, then judice means judgment. So you are judging that person even before knowing the real score, even before knowing the truth or the fact about that person. An unfounded, so unfounded, wala kang basihan. Dislike of a person or group based on their belonging to a particular stereotyped group. So this is very much connected or associated with stereotyping kasi meron ka ng type, meron ka ng label sa kanilang grupo. So if you happen to meet or see a particular member of that group, you tend to have that prejudice na ganyan siya kasi yung grupo nila ganito. Tapos dun siya na member, so perhaps ganito din siya. So that is prejudice. Prejudice can lead to negative consequences in the workplace and in particular to discrimination. So just like the social issues that Asians are facing in other countries, right? So merong mga Asian hate, yung mga ganun, kahit na basta nakikita lang na mga, like for example, na mga foreigners or ng mga white people yung Asian, may ibang pinapatay, binubuli. So that's an example of prejudice, but to the extreme na kasi meron ng violence, meron ng crime. So prejudice generally starts with stereotypes. Again, prejudice, nag-start siya sa stereotypes and then has a negative emotional content added. So meron kang stereotype pero walang hindi siya ganun ka-intent. So, pero pag meron ng emotional na content, so meron ng hate, meron ng anger, so that is the time na nagiging prejudice na ang iyong stereotype. Okay, so why do perception and judgment matter? Like in the study of DBA, okay, Doctor of Business Administration, why do you think you need to know about perception? Why do you think you need to know about these things? So let me hear from our classmates. Sino pong gustong mag-share? As DBA students po, why do you think you need to know about like perception? Ano yung mga perception errors? What are the factors affecting perception? And all about judging people's behavior. Why do you think this is important for you?
Ma'am,
Yes.
and
Yes, Sir Jerry.
while listening to you a while ago about the stereotyping, I am a school board chairman, and every year we have hiring of teachers.
Yes.
One of the things that I found it that we are exercising is stereotyping, because the instruction from the mission is that every time we hire graduate from Mountain View College, they are given bigger financial, I mean, they are given a higher salary compared to those who are graduates from layman school, no?
Ganun po.
Halimbawa, oo. Yun ang na-practice namin kasi sabi ng education superintendent, graduate kasi yan ng MBC eh. Oo, by Bible subject yan. So, what do you think? Are we making wrong perception and judgment on that matter?
Stereotyping po is part of the causes of perceptual error. Diba po?
Oo nga. Yun nga. Pagbasa ko dito, why do perception and judgment matter? So I think parang may malaking diferensya that you are exercising within the denominational work. We are exercising stereotype.
Yes po.
Ibig ba sabihin na pag MBC lahat magagaling na?
Yes. Yes po.
Um,
Okay, we also have that same.
Halimbawa kung sa layman school, hindi pala masyadong magaling sila. Yun ba ang naisip ko? parang may mali talaga pala sa practice namin.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sir Jerry. Okay, we also had that same experience, but not my experience, my friend's experience. She's teaching in an Adventist, run by Adventist people, owned by Adventist people, but it's not, I don't, kanang hindi siya from the conference. So we also have that like private school run by Adventist people. The name of the school is with Adventist, pero privately run by Adventist people, not really connected with the conference.
Layman school ang tawag doon ba?
Layman school pala yun pala yun. Thanks, sir. Then ano, yung sinasabi na nag-hiring kami ng teacher kasi yung friend ko bagong graduate. I mean, bagong pasa. Na license na siya. Tapos sabi na, nag-hire pala kayo, baka pwede ako mag-apply. Nag-ask siya sa yung kakilala ng teacher. Tapos sabi niya, hindi naman kami tumatanggap ng hindi galing sa MVC eh. So, ganun yung sagot ng isang teacher doon. So, that was an experience na parang masasabi talaga natin na merong stereotyping. Bakit yung ibang teacher, hindi ba sila pwedeng makapag-teach or bakit yung ganun lang yung hinahire? Pero when in fact, actually, most of the teachers hired in that school were not from MVC. I mean, all of the teachers there are actually not from MVC. So, merong stereotyping na nangyayari doon. So,
Stereotyping is how you describe in a group. Pero
yes,
pero pag yung isa lang, ma'am, ano yung tawag doon?
the yung prejudice.
Prejudice ba
Yung
yun?
stereotyping is
Before pa sa stereotyping, may
yung halo effect.
halo effect nun, no?
Iba din yun. Yung halo effect is you are just referring or basing your judgment of a person based on one characteristic.
Halo effect pala yun. Pag yung
Halo, for
isa lang-
example, yung mga teacher natin, lahat naman siguro tayo makaka-relate, especially sa college or sa high school. Sabi lang, yan si ma'am. May terms yung mga yung mga student, yan si Ma'am Foundation Day kasi every day napakakapal ng foundation niya. Tapos yan si Sir Tiger kasi napakatigre. Yung tinitingnan natin sa isang tao is one-sided lang, isa lang. To describe that person or that teacher or that
How about the
professor.
situation, Prof?
Yes, Sir
Sa
Ari.
school natin na layman school o kahit saan pa mang school natin na Adventist school institution ay kung ang Adventist ang mag-apply sa teaching position at doon naman din sa isang non-Adventist or non-SDA na applicant, hindi tinanggap siya dahil hindi siya Adventist. So anong pinapractice doon? Stereotyping or denominational biases?
Okay. So I think in that case, Sir Aris, kasi meron naman na 'di ba, may parang academic freedom or may freedom yung like administration sa kanilang, like for example, yung qualifications ba. I'm not really familiar or yung sa nila yung mga policies lang yung pagtatanggap ng mga applicants, pero usually yung alam ko Adventist yung hinahire. Perhaps merong denominational biases, pero at the end of the administration, maybe tinitingnan nila na kailangan Adventist kasi
At sa sitwasyon na ganito, ibang sitwasyon naman,
yes.
nag-practice po ba ng prejudice or ang institution ay prejudice o di kaya denominational biases kung ang isang school na layman category meron siyang na-hire na non-Adventist o non-SDA at nung na-observe na siya sa conference at ang policy ng conference ay kailangan lahat ay Adventist ang mga empleyado. Ngayon tinanggal siya dahil hindi siya pumasa doon sa standard na kung saan ang mga empleyado ay lahat Adventist. At ayaw naman niya ng mag-Adventist. So saan doon? Prejudice or denominational biases?
Tinanggap na siya. Pagkatapos,
Yes, employee na siya pero nung inabsorb na sa conference yung institution kung saan siya ay nagtatrabaho, tinanggal siya dahil ayaw naman niyang mag-Adventist. At ang palisiya naman, lahat ng mga empleyado pag i-absorb na sa conference ay dapat Adventist lahat. So kung ayaw mag-Adventist is expulsion or termination. So ano ba bang ano natin diyan? Applicable pa ba ang dalawa diyan o isa lang?
kasi yung prejudice, meron ng yung emotions na involved. Like yung hatred, anger towards a particular employee or person. But then, yung sa denominational bias, you're just basing on the religion of that person.
So
Diba
hindi
po?
ba siya ma-considered as prejudice tayo dahil tinanggal natin dahil ayaw mag-Adventist?
In a sense, merong prejudice doon.
So applied siya sa dalawa.
Yes, merong denominational bias, then meron din siyang prejudice.
Kasi minsan sa bagay sectarian lang talaga ang makonsider talaga tayong sectarian dahil ang institution ay Adventist, meaning
We have the right.
ang organization is run by Adventist Institute or Adventist institution. So kaya ang palisiya is pro-Adventist lang talaga. So kung sakaling may mga empleyado na masasagasaan talaga sa palisiyang ganyan. So prejudice at the same time, denominational biases dahil sa mga palisiya or guidelines.
Yes, kasi meron naman like yung sinabi mo na meron tayong choice or freedom kasi nga Adventist yun. Nasa policy na siya. So, kailangan sundin yung policy. Pero yung sa case mo, Sir Aris, na tinanggap na siya, parang binigyan siya ng chance na maging Adventist. But actually, yung tinanggal na siya, sa tingin ko talagang hindi na talaga yun mag-a-Adventist. Because of the emotion na
Tinanggal dahil hindi talaga papasa doon sa standard or sa guidelines na kung saan napasa ilalim ang isang institution.
Yes.
Kasi ang institution, meron tayong higher institution. Example, Liman School. So, i-absorb na siya, tatanggapin na siya sa conference. So, hindi na siya meron man siyang autonomous power, pero naka-umbrella siya sa higher office kung saan yun ang conference.
Yes.
So ngayon ang conference ay may sariling palisiya na kung saan bago i-absorb yung institution na yon, no? At kung meron mang non-Adventist ay kailangan mag-Adventist or else hindi siya talaga tatanggapin or ano siya. Kasi meron talagang may mga estado na ganyan na may mga non-Adventist or non-SDA teachers or employees nung hindi pa siya, ang status niya ay layman school pa.
Okay.
Oo. Pag na-approve na siya sa conference,
Walang
ay siyempre ang anong tawag dito? Mag-ano dito na palisiya ay yung higher office. Ngayon, deal or no deal. So, minsan ang palisiya na nagagawa, doon ang may problema. Oh. Pero ganun talaga kasi sektaryan naman talaga. Sektaryan naman talaga yung palisiya, hindi siya non-sektaryan.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's an
Can
example
I
of
butt in
external.
there?
Wala na tayong control. Yes, sino yon?
Si Mr. Faustino.
Yes, Sir Jerry.
With due respect to Doc Aris, buti dito sa atin ngayon, hindi pa effect or wala pang batas sa educational institution na pwede mag-employ ang Adventist school ng non-Adventist. Pero ang alam ko sa mga hospitals and sanitariums natin, required talaga at
Na
I think
Adventist.
20% of the doctors and nurses pwedeng i-absorb, i-hire kahit non-Adventist. So, kaya yung sanitarium natin sa Iligan may mga non-Adventist doctors diyan. Pero yun ang tinitingnan ko na darating ang panahon may magiging Republic Act talaga na hindi pwede purely sectarian yung purely sectarian yung employee sa isang institusyon. Sa DepEd nga palaging nire-remind kami na we should not exercise prejudice in hiring teachers. Kahit
Okay.
ano pa siya, single mom siya, disabled person siya, or yung mga underprivileged na mga tao pero natapos niya yung education, kasama talaga sila sa hiring process. Pwede sila mag-apply. Oo.
O ang problema talaga kasi diyan, parang malabo yung mangyari dahil meron tayong batas na separation of state, church and state.
Church and state.
Yes, kaya makapag-exercise talaga ng sectarian policy ang isang denomination dahil hindi siya saklaw. No, hindi siya magiging saklaw doon sa kanilang sa existing na batas sa Pilipinas. Kasi may option naman siya. Maliban siguro kung sa isang lugar talaga o sa isang bansa na walang ibang mapuntahan na trabaho, kundi yun lang na sectarian institution na yon ang mapapasukan niya. Siguro mangyayari yan na mag-ano talaga ang government, mag-intervene talaga ang government yan at magawa ng batas na kailangan papasukin yun na dahil walang iba. Pero hanggang nandito tayo ngayon sa panahon na kung saan maraming nagtapos at qualified sa ganyang klaseng trabaho at may mapagpilian siya. So mag-i-exist pa rin yung ganong klaseng palisiya na nagiging kung sa atin pa parang discrimination. No, discrimination talaga yung ganyan. Katulad din sa mangyayari na kung saan tayo sa ating sitwasyon na tayo nagtatrabaho sa isang kumpanya o sa isang institution na kung saan ay iba doon sa ating paniniwala. So ang mangyayari, so tayo din ang matatamaan sa ganong palisiya. So yun lang po ang aking reflection at para makapag proceed na si Prof. Cristo.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Aris. Yes.
Doc.
Sino yan?
Zuniga po, ma'am.
Yes, Zuniga. Yes, sir.
Okay. Ako dati school board chairman for almost 20 years
Wow.
dito sa Siocon. Pero sa pag-aral ko sa SPC sa theology, yan ko nalalaman na ang private school katulad ng ating school, mayroon requirements talaga kung mag-teach ang isang tao. Kailangan may 18 units Bible subject. Bakit ganyan? Kasi you cannot give what you don't have.
Yes,
So nagtuturo tayo sa Bible, mga yung values at iba pa. So mayroon siyang required na mga units na
Yes.
kukunin niya para ma-impart niya yun sa mga estudyante. Hindi lang requirement ang Seventh-day Adventist, kundi kung hindi kailangan nakuha na yung subject, yung 18 units. Kaya nagkuha ako noon ng education units. So para sa akin, hindi naman siguro yan bias or prejudice kasi run by our institution, ang ating paaralan, kailangan talaga yung
Sumunod.
ma-express natin, ma-share natin yung talagang aim natin sa mga estudyante na ang ating teacher ay talagang qualified. Talagang qualified. Pero mayroon namang mga Seventh-day Adventist nag-teach na wala silang Bible subject. Kaya i-entertain sila pero mayroong limit na kailangan magkuha sila ng Bible subject para maging regular sila.
I see.
Para sa akin, hindi kasi hindi not because you are a Seventh-day Adventist you are qualified to teach. Sama sa like for example in other layman school sa in Iligan or somewhere in our school here in Mindanao, mayroong layman school nag-teach ng Bible subject. Hindi naman sila qualified na mag-teach ng Bible subject kasi hindi sila nakapasa sa parang kuan sa general conference. So pwede ka mag-offer pero you will not be accepted when you apply for employment sa ating mga institusyon katulad ng mga schools. Kasi yung Bible subject na kinuha mo, hindi siya align sa ating fundamental beliefs. Yan lang po ang sa akin, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Sir Zaniga. Yes, tama din po yun, no? Pero yung sa experience ng friend ko na kahit Adventist, pero hindi lang sa MVC, parang meron silang, basta hindi MVC, hindi tatanggapin. Yun doon, meron na talaga yung stereotyping. Okay, pero yung actual naman talaga ay hindi pala. Hindi pala talaga sinusunod ng school. Okay, so we're moving on to the next. Okay, self-fulfilling prophecy. So this is a concept that proposes a person will behave in ways consistent with how he or she is perceived by others. So here, self-fulfilling prophecy, kung ano yung sinasabi ng iba tungkol sa'yo, parang sasabihin mong, tutuhanin ko na to kasi ito yung pagtingin nila sa akin eh. Okay, for example, even if hindi ka maharot or even if hindi ka tamad, pero palagi mong naririnig sa iba na, yan, maharot yan or flirt yan or ganito siya, tamad siya. So, sasabihin mo na, okay, ganun yung pagtingin niya sa akin. So, gagawin ko na lang yung ganun kasi yun yung pagtingin niya sa akin. So, that's an example of self-fulfilling prophecy. So, maganda yun kapag positive yung perception ng ibang tao sa kanya. Kasi yun yung gagawin niya din. I-fulfill niya yung prophecy ng ibang tao. Whereas, when it is negative, it will also be negative for that person. So, we also have that Pygmalion effect. So this is also known as Pygmalion effect, evolved to characterize the fact that people's expectations determine their behavior. So there are people that, again, yung behavior nila is nakabase kung ano yung pagtingin ng, ano yung expectations, ano yung tingin ng mga tao sa kanila or ano yung ina-assume nila na ganito yung kanyang behaviors. This is based on the name of a Greek character, Pygmalion. Okay, so this is a story, Pygmalion and Galatea, na nag-carve siya ng isang image ng isang perfect na lalaki. Tapos, nafe-feel ng artist na talagang totoo yung lalaki kasi kinikiss niya yung